The Grandissimes by George Washington Cable. Born in New Orleans in 1844 to parents who had emigrated from the North, George Washington Cable began his writing career as a columnist and a reporter for local newspapers. A talented scout from a Scrivener's monthly magazine discovered him and the nation's appetite for the exotic scenes and characters of the Creole civilization helped to make him popular. He has been called the most important Southern artist working in the late 19th century, as well as the first modern Southerner writer. His first collection of Creole tales, Old Creole Days, published in 1879, was hailed as the equal of Hawthorne's tales in New England. His first novel, The Grandissimes, published in 1880, was continually in print during Cable's lifetime. His other works, however, were not so popular. Cable's study of the colonial history of Louisiana, while his career revealed the decline of an aristocracy under the pressure of circumstances. Cable's work entitles him to the reputation of one of the few American writers of fiction in the 19th century whose material is distinctly regional, but whose version is much deeper and more comprehensive, illuminating the hidden parts of the human conscience and psyche and bringing up close the general currents of human history. Cable connected the decline of the Creoles to their self-destructive racial pride, and his best work, this novel, The Grandissimes, makes clear that such racial arrogance has direct application to broader problems of Southern history. In his career after The Grandissimes, Cable was unable to reconcile his love for the South with his abhorrence of slavery and racism. The result was a split in his career, and in 1885 he moved north to Massachusetts, where he died. The Grandissimes chronicles the adventures and romances of various members of the family Grandissime, black, white, mixed race, rich and poor alike. The story begins when Honore Grandissime, the scion of the white branch of this powerful New Orleans clan, takes in Joseph Frowenfeld, a young man from Philadelphia whose entire family has died from yellow fever. Honore's conversation with Joseph about the New Orleans caste system set light on the dilemmas at the center of the novel. Honore finds himself caught between an idealistic Joseph who advocates sweeping from social reforms that could end slavery but essentially erase Creole culture, and his pride uncle Agricola Fusilio, who holds onto a racist past in order to preserve the Grandissime way of life. Honore wants to establish business partnership with his quadroon half-brother, also called Honore, and do right by Aurora Nankanu, who was wiped out and rendered destitute when Agricola murdered her husband over a gambling dispute. Pras Coupé, an enslaved African prince on a Spanish Creole plantation, is engaged to Palma, who was Aurora's maid. Pras Coupé attacks his white overseer, and he is soon viciously pursued by a mob of Creole aristocrats, among them Agricola, through the New Orleans swamps. Upon his capture, Pras Coupé issues a curse on both his master and his plantation. Pras Coupé personifies the cruelty of slavery and the degeneracy that lies at the heart of a so-called genteel Southern society. Cable complicates the genre of historical romance in this novel by providing a realistic portrait of race and class relations in New Orleans. This novel, for almost a decade, became a novel of relevance to the cause of civil rights for Black Americans, proof that somewhere in the corporate heart of the South, the evil had been acknowledged and desired. This novel, The Grandissimes, is nowadays a different one that accumulates over more than a century of literary history, an evolving cluster of interpretations, causes, emphasis, and special interests. The Grandissimes is one of the richest novels in its cumulative being in the canon of American literature. Understanding the American South. Thanks for watching.